Hello, my internet peeps. How are you today? This is Scott Rideshare. Welcome to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anyway, I had made a previous video. This isn't going to be anything about rideshare. I made a previous video, and I was talking about opinions and facts and leaps in logic. And I ended up in a private conversation with somebody about that. And in the video, I didn't really explain leaps in logic. And I kind of used a ridiculous example about how somebody will form an opinion based on wrong facts. And I always find it hard for me to explain this to people. And it's not that I don't think people are understanding what I'm saying. I think it's that I'm not finding the right words. I'm going to try to do this again with this video. And stick with me. I think you're going to be entertained with this. I had... you can either consider it fortunate or unfortunate position. I was in a position where I had to work with this rather difficult individual for a couple of years. And this person, I believe, was there in my life to teach me to be patient. Now, people already say that I'm patient, but I believe he was teaching me to be more patient, if that makes any kind of sense. This individual was very opinionated. He would walk around the workplace and give his opinions about everything, because he had an opinion on everything. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think opinions can be wrong. That's my belief. Whatever opinion you have, I don't believe it could be wrong. The problem is that he quite often did leaps in logic, and his facts behind his opinions were wrong, which is what makes him a perfect example for what I'm about to describe. So let me take it back to when I was a kid, okay? I can't tell you how old I was. I'm going to say before I was 10, so it's a couple of years ago. I had bitten into an apple, and I bit the seed, and it was bitter, and I kind of spit it out because of the taste. And what I grew to understand was that the reason it was bitter is because there was cyanide in the seed. And you're not supposed to eat the seeds of fruit because the cyanide will kill you. I mean, cyanide's deadly, right? So my whole life I had been believing, don't eat the seeds of fruits because you'll die. Which is quite serious, I think. Anyway, what happened was a couple of years ago, 4 years ago, I guess, I had found out that eating the seeds of fruit, particularly apricot kernels, which did have cyanide, will not kill you. There's not enough cyanide in those kernels to kill you. Plus, eating the kernel, the apricot kernel, along with an enzyme that's in that seed as well, had cancer-fighting properties. Some people were claiming cures, and they're not allowed to say that because the FDA will throw them in jail, literally. But that's what they're claiming. So I'm reading this with fascination because this went against everything I believed my whole life. And I was doing the research behind it. And so far, it's internet stuff. You know, you can't believe everything that's on the internet. So in order to make I wanted to bring some of this into the real world. And I knew this opinionated individual was a vegetarian. So when he was walking around giving his opinion on everything, I asked him, do you eat the seeds of fruits? And he said, yes, he does. He says, not the pits. So for example, if you're eating an orange, that's a pit, you don't eat that. But an apple seed, you would eat that. Kernels from plums and seeds from mangoes, stuff like that, you can eat that. And that's what he was telling me anyway. Now, I wasn't looking for knowledge from him. I was asking him on his experience. So if the guy eats the apricot, if the guy eats seeds and he's not dead, then that kind of goes against what I was told and quite possibly made this internet stuff that I'm just reading true. So it was a lot more of an experience thing I was asking for from him, which he gave me. And then he paused for a second and did a leap in logic and said, that's why I don't eat meat. He said it takes 2 weeks for meat to go through your digestive system. Would you eat a piece of meat that was sitting there for 2 weeks? Now, I don't know how he got to his anti-meat rant. His opinion on it is fine. I happen to think that my opinion is that we eat too much meat in our diets, and through the years I've been reducing my meat intake. I'll never give up meat. I love eating, chicken and fish and, all sorts of meat, steaks. So I'll never give it up. But I have reduced it, and I've increased my vegetables. I've always eaten vegetables my whole life, but I've increased my portions on vegetables. I've decreased my portions on my starches, my rices and my potatoes. But I'm just going based on my opinion, and I'm not telling him that his opinion was wrong. How he got to that was, to me, a leap in logic. But his opinion, to me, is not wrong. I know plenty of people that are vegetarians, and they're fine. You just have to make sure you substitute correctly. That's all. And then some people are doing it for humanitarian reasons. They don't like the way animals are treated. Nothing to do with health. It's just, they don't like the fact that, veal would be stuck in a box its whole life. Things of that nature. Anyway, none of that was wrong. I mean, how he got there, I'm like, leap of logic, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't say anything to him because I didn't want to get into it, right? Now, here's where his fact is wrong. He said it takes meat 2 weeks to digest through your system. Now, anyone that knows anything about digestion will tell you that meals vary from individual to individual. And in fact, it even varies within the individual from meal to meal. And the fact is that meat doesn't take any longer to go through your body than fruits or vegetables. As soon as I say that, people that love vegetables go, whoa, 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 no, because as soon as I'll eat something and then, I'll excrete. A couple hours later, 8 hours later, whatever, 12 hours later, whatever it is they're saying. And all this is really somebody who doesn't understand what fiber is. Now, fiber comes in high concentrations in fruits and vegetables. It's one of the reasons fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's one of the reasons we need to eat more of it. Now, picture a Christmas tree, and you break off one of the little branches, and you have the stick in the middle with the pine needles sticking out of it. And that's not exactly, but similar to what fiber is. It's not as many needles, sticking out from it. But that's what fiber is. And when you eat it, your body cannot digest fiber. So what it does is it takes everything else out and passes it on. And then those needles start picking up, waste that's in your digestive tract, and you excrete it. And that's why it's good, because it helps you cleanse your system. However, what's left of the fruits and vegetables are still in your digestive system digesting. So when you eat a piece of meat along with vegetables, yeah, you'll go to the bathroom, but that's not the vegetables being excreted. That's the fiber. And the vegetables are still in your digestive tract. It doesn't take 2 weeks. It can take up to 36 hours. Now, there may be some rare exceptions where it goes longer, but for most normal people, up to 36 hours. 36 hours is a far cry from 2 weeks. And this is an example of what I'm talking about. He got his facts wrong, and he's basing his opinion on it. Now, if I thought he was a reasonable guy, which I don't, I would have talked to him about it and explained to him that his fact was wrong. But he's the kind of guy where he would just dig his heels in. And I knew that about him, so I just ignored it and just whatever. All right, now let me go to his leap in logic. His leap in logic was, would you eat a piece of meat that's sitting there for 2 weeks? And this is an example of, forgive me, but comparing apples and oranges. First of all, fruits, for the most part, have a protective barrier around it, okay? And it's got a skin. So it's going to die, but it takes a while longer for it to die than if you slice off a piece of the cow and leave it there. If you wanted to compare it properly, what you do is you take the apple, you slice it up, make apple slices, leave it there for 2 weeks next to the piece of meat. Now, there's different things are going to happen, obviously, because you're going to get bugs and smells and all kinds of weird stuff. So I don't recommend anyone doing this. But would you eat a piece of fruit that's been cut up and is sitting there for 2 weeks? Most people are going to say no. Only really, really starving people are going to say, yeah, I'll eat it. But for the most part, no one's going to eat it for sitting there for 2 weeks. So how do you sit there and compare the two? Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I mean in leaps and logic. So when I was doing that original video, I was saying that you can have an opinion, and I won't argue or discuss the opinion. I'll accept it. It's your opinion, and I don't believe opinions can be wrong. What I do believe can be wrong are your facts behind it. And in this particular example, his fact about taking 2 weeks for meat to digest was wrong. It's clearly wrong. Anyone who knows anything about digestion will tell you that. His leap in logic was, leaving a piece of meat for 2 weeks. Even if he was correct that it takes 2 weeks, what you want to do is you want to cut the apple up and leave that there for 2 weeks and see if you would eat that too. So his logic made no sense. It was a leap in logic. So anyway, I kind of hope they cleared things up from the previous video that I said. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe, please hit that bell notification so you'll know every time I upload a new video. Also, down below in the description box, I have links. Actually, my name is Scott Rideshare, so I do have rideshare links down below. Take a look at those links. If you want to make some extra part-time money, there's a way to do it down below. If you're a passenger, you can save some money by using one of the other apps. There's also a link down there if you want to hire your favorite driver. Go ahead and go to the website you serve, and it'll tell you all about it. Okay? I hope you liked the video. Please comment. I'd like to hear your comments. Believe it or not, I want to hear everyone's opinions on it. But I'd love to hear that. So please comment down below. And thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day. This is Scott Rideshare.